Hey, this is me building and strategizing a $2 million a year company in public. Last month, I made 128K in profit. I want to hit 167K a month in profit. And the structure of this video is simple. We always start with some live Q&A. So it's going to be the first thing we're going to do. After our live Q&A, we're going to move over to some growth stats. So we're going to show behind the scenes of what it looks like to grow this sort of business model. Then at the end, we're going to cover some live strategy. Today, I'm going to be doing an Upwork agent in N8N. I'm not going to be building out the whole thing, but I'm going to map it out, play around with a couple of the API options and stuff. Then assuming that it's good, I'm actually going to take that and make a whole video on it for my main channel. So going to be pretty exciting, very stoked. I'm also pretty jazzed about just the format of this and how it's getting better and better and better every day. Very much a small incremental improvement sort of guy. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to start February. Ooh, that is a little bit off. Let me tilt my pad a little bit and make this super thick. Gotta like them thick. Okay, February the 8th. I'm totally going to cancel for this. February the 18th today. Let's start with some Q&A. We've got a lot of great questions in the channel because the channel blew up a little bit yesterday. So let me head over to studio.youtube.com. This is the daily update channel. As we see, go to analytics, and we'll cover that in a second. But man, we gained a big spike in just the last like 24, 48 hours. So that's pretty great. What I want is the community tab where I have a ton of questions. Let's scroll all the way down to the bottom. So it's going to be hard for me to like actually answer all the questions that come in realistically, the more popular that this channel gets, but I'm going to do my best. And, every once in a while, I'm going to have a lot of time available and I'm just going to probably answer like 10 questions that day. So, definitely if you've posted a question, stay tuned for that. Let's start with Brendan's. If you guys remember yesterday, I answered that last one. Excuse me. Why don't we try answering the first two here? So thanks for the answer, Nick. More questions for you. I remember seeing your friend Matt Larson mentioning somewhere that the agency model is only the best if you are in the top 0.1%. So is starting an agency still the best choice for beginners / someone transitioning from a 9-to-5 to entrepreneurship? Yeah, I don't think he... So first of all, I don't know the context in which he said this. So I'm just loosely interpreting his words based off of this. As much as I love the guy, I don't watch every minute of his content. So he probably means it's the best model if you're in the top 1%, in terms of like, not the scalability of the model, but just like the overall ability to earn income from it. I'd say it's the best choice for a beginner for sure. Top 0.1% probably, he probably just meant, I don't know, like intelligence or capability or like access to resources or some other metric of what it means to be in the top 0.1%. I definitely recommend starting an agency if you are at the start line or if you're a beginner transitioning from a 9-to-5 to entrepreneurship. I think that this is by far the best choice. There's no better choice because basically an agency is like the closest thing to what you were doing already. Odds are, you're a worker bee at some corporation, you're probably providing a service, right? Whatever the way you want to conceptualize the service is, it's still a service. So an agency is you providing a service, very same thing that you were probably doing in your company, just for a client that you sort of manage the relationship with on your own as opposed to having the company do it for you. So this is very, very similar to the same sort of thing that you were doing before. It's just now it's your own. And generally speaking, you want to minimize the distance between 0 to 1. You want to draw in a rainbow font. You want to minimize this distance as much as possible. So if this is like you before, and this is you after, like if this is the gulf of entrepreneurship that most people never make it through, like you just want to make the gap as small as possible. And that's what an agency allows you to do. Should freelancers just start a one-person agency like DesignJoy for the added advantage of using a company for branding purposes? If yes, why? If no, why? Yeah, for sure. I mean, so the reason why is because it improves sellability later. If you're just a freelance outfit and you make 200K a year, that's good, but you can't sell it. If you start a company, then you have the opportunity to sell the company. Obviously if it's a one-man company and you're just using this thing as a front, it's not like you're really going to be able to sell it because the vast majority of the business just relies on you. It's the founder exceptionalism problem. But yeah, you're going to be able to use the company for branding purposes, and then you're at least going to open the door and make it easier for you to do the things that turn your company into a sellable piece of equity later. This is contrasted against usually when you brand yourself as a human being, hey, I'm Nick Saraev. You can typically grow faster because it's just you. People feel like they're working with a human and not necessarily a faceless company. So, I think basically what I would do is, okay, how we talked about Xero, right? If this is like your agency, and then this is you working some corporate worker bee job, if I could reformat this, it would actually be something like this: 0 to 1, This would be corporate. This would be like freelance. And then this would be like agency, realistically. So, you know, it's a lot easier to go from corporation to freelance because you're seeing people, or people are seeing you as an individual and not a faceless company. And it'll make that jump to the actual agency when you hire a little bit easier to do so as well. So yeah, I mean, like, to make a long story short, absolutely. For the reasons that I mentioned, primarily equity based, the way that you make a ton of money in entrepreneurship is like you build an asset, you invest in that asset with your time, energy, money, and risk, and then that asset eventually allows you to sell. And you typically get to take advantage of capital gains exclusion tax in a capital gains exclusion tax law in most major countries around the world, which allows you to avoid paying like an absolutely absurd amount of tax on a small business that you've built and got to the point where you're ready to sell. So hopefully that helps. Brendan, great questions, man. Okay, we got a couple of good ones from Mark here. Nick, just found out about the second channel. Love this. What was the decision-making process like to create a second one for this content? Do you think there's an advantage to it? Yeah, there were a couple. So the bigger that your channel grows, usually the less recommended it is to post every day. I don't really know entirely why, but after you achieve a certain level of growth, generally speaking, you want to add more time, energy to the content. You want to give your content a little bit more time to breathe. I've heard from a variety of sources and, a bunch of consultants and stuff like that. This is basically what happens. When you post a video, you have this big growth spike and it kind of goes down over time, right? That's typically what it looks like. So if this is like, time of posting right over here. This is sort of like, I don't know, day. So this is day, let's do 0, 1. This is like 2, okay? The idea is if you post every day, basically you're just going to be doing this every day. You're going to be going up, and then you're going to be doing another one that's going to be going up, then you're going to be doing another one that's going up, you're going to be doing another one that's going up. This is the idea anyway, and there's no real way that I know if this is true or not. This is just what all of the people in the industry are saying, or what a lot of people in the industry are saying. But what that means is you basically lose all of the organic YouTube recommended growth from like day 1 to 2 and beyond, really. So if you look at some of the biggest channels on planet Earth, they just tend not to post every day because, you only kind of get this. Now, the thing is, that's the statistical side of it. But let's talk a little bit about like the emotional side, which is really what matters. Maybe not even the emotional, but just like the habitual, right? This is all data, but let's talk about what it is to be human trying to do this thing. Well, humans are creatures of consistency and habit. And so what I found when I switched to this posting once every 2 days model, as opposed to posting every day model on my main channel, is my consistency and my ability to do the sorts of daily iterative habits that I like to do that make me great. It tended to fall off because I was doing different things every day. And it was just difficult to have that same habit where it's like, hey, I woke up, I did X, Y, and Z. Now I'm going to record a video doing this other thing. And that's what allowed me to grow as quickly as I could the first time. So, basically there are 2 reasons for this. The first one is, the first one is giant arrow. Now the first one is the consistency. So that's probably one of the most important parts. And then the second part is obviously like the YouTube SEO part. So, there's another one here as well, and that's the content type. I think there's going to be a slightly different audience learning how to that are interested in learning how to build a business versus people that are interested in learning how to build automation specifically. I think the first audience that is watching this channel right now is probably more like entrepreneurial in nature, and so they care more about like, how to grow a company, maybe some mindset stuff surrounding that. What does the actual day-to-day process look like? That sort of thing. And then the other group is more like, how do I set up my N8N or make.com automation? What's the simplest way to like extract values from an array and so on and so forth. So this is just an easier way for me, I guess, to respect my different audiences and then like provide content that is relevant to them. So that's my, those are the answers there. Okay, Cal University says, this is a very insightful video. I see that you use a form for your hourly logs. I'm guessing you run an automation for analyzing how you're spending your time. Could you go over the framework for this feedback loop, what you measure and why? How does that impact what you do tomorrow, and how do you implement those improvements, eliminate distractions? I think people are capable of working hard, But the hardest part is not getting distracted or working on the wrong things. You're bang on. A lot of people are capable of working hard. I don't think a lot of people are capable of working consistently, which is really the big lever. And the reason why is because they all tend to get distracted, right? So, yeah, I don't have like, no, I don't have a framework for like a feedback loop. Sorry, I don't have an automation that like compiles my feedback loop stuff and then does a bunch of cool things related to that. I just have a deliverable tracker over here where, I basically put down the tasks that I did in the last hour. And I just picked this up because Matthew Larson swore by it. And I said, no, all right, I'm always a fan of testing out and trying new systems. So, yeah, I basically dump queries in there. And then what I do after, sorry, let me actually go to the specific record that matters. What I do after is I log all of these, and then I get like a number of like what hour of the day was the work, what time was the entry, and then what exactly did I do in the last 24 hours. Sorry, in the last hour. So I basically have an AI, like I have an automation that like parses out these info dumps that I'm providing in here and just into line items and then just dumps in the sheet. And I don't know, like once a month or whatever, I just look through and I see, hey, how was I spending my time? Was I spending my time in the most effective way? So for instance, yesterday I did a bunch of studio stuff. I got a new camera, and because I got a new camera, I had to sort of like change my setup a little bit. And as a result, I had to move my table and my desk and change the lens and all that stuff. That necessitated me taking a cold hard look at my studio, and I just found that it was really disorganized and really ugly. So what I did is I spent like a good 2 hours yesterday going through and like tying up my cables with those little ties, hiding all of like the BS. Now I basically have like a clear white desk aside from my ugly coffee mug and then my tablet, and then my phone in the corner. But just like the feeling that I have as a result of doing this, I just feel a lot cleaner, a lot more organized. I do, I do a retrospective insofar that I will look at that and I'll say, hey, was that an effective usage of my time? If the answer to that was yes, then obviously I continue doing those tasks. It's like a positive reinforcement, but I don't use an automation for this sort of stuff. And the fact that you're asking that question, I think that this is a good opportunity to press upon the fact that like you shouldn't really be automating everything. If you think about it, like this is one of the highest leverage actions possible because it is like analyzing how you're spending your time. This is one of the highest leverage actions that a human being can do for themselves. You don't really want to outsource that to, a middling intelligence. Like, sure, maybe in a few years when these AI models are way vastly smarter than us, yeah, sure, I'd have the AI run through the analysis and assess my emotional state and see ways that I could be better. But right now, like, this is something that it really makes sense for you to do. And also from an emotional perspective, it's not just like the logical bits and pieces here. It's also like, how much do you buy in to optimizing your life? Well, spending a little bit of time and being intentional about it helps you buy into that life optimization. So yeah, I typically do all this sort of stuff manually, to be real. Thank you very much, Viendo in Seattle and Tacoma. You gotta have a name here, man. Alberto, there we go. I knew it. Thank you, Alberto. Appreciate it, Marlon. Marlon also asks, how long have you been growing your main channel for? What are the two biggest insights other than consistency? Main channel, February the 7th, 2024. So it has now been 376 days since I started. What are the two biggest insights other than consistency? If you are really good at what you do, then find a way to interface with the market as much as humanly possible. Because the more you interface with the market, the more your natural ability, which is going to be better than people at the thing that you're doing or maybe talking about, will shine. And all you're doing is you're just providing an opportunity for the market to gauge the average level of competency that you have. People find talented people inherently interesting to watch. So in my case, me building out make automations for something like 65 total hours now on my course was one of the best ways that I could have constructed my content, because it's just, hey, you watch a guy that's a pro at the thing that he's doing do a lot of it. Human beings just like looking at stuff like that, I guess. So if you're good at something, just, do it a ton on camera or show people as opposed to just tell. And then eventually, you just break through the noise. What is the procedure to be a referral partner for automation stuff? I don't really have a procedure right now. I just have people that I've worked with for quite a while. So, yeah, the people that I've worked with for quite a while, obviously I trust them. And all of the people that I work with today, they just reached out to me at some point in the last year with like some massive value add and said, "Hey, I built this thing for you. Hey, I wrote this thing for you. Hey, you know, I love what you're doing, but I think you could be making a little bit more money. Here's exactly what I would do." And then if I like their stuff, then I just, you know, call them up. We have a quick phone call, and then I get them to do an actual task for money. So yeah, I guess that's a procedure here. If you have something that you think that I could use to make a little bit more money, then send it over to me, man. Yeah, spend a little bit of time. That sort of outreach is just what's crushing nowadays, by the way, where you do a little bit of work up front, then you give it, just because it's like the pinnacle of authenticity. It takes more time on a per lead basis, but I think if you just like math it out, you end up saving more time relative to just blasting out a ton of outreach that isn't really personalized or doesn't really offer value. Mark says, "Are you using AI to generate a lot of text content that you produce in newsletters, website copy, etc.?" For example, no, I don't. I may do it for my newsletters. I am doing it for my Instagram content right now, but the vast majority of the text content that I produce, no, I just write it myself. You know, writing for me is like meditation. It's like thinking. So, you know, again, I don't want to outsource my thinking. I just happen to write fast and I'm pretty good at it. So that's why it might look like a lot of content in a short period of time. He also says, "Don't knock the Samsung super ultra wide 49-inch ones. I've had one for years. No bezel's literally the best. The OBS point you made, you can crop to only part of the screen and it works great." Okay. Yeah, that's great, man. Dude, you know, if you end up watching this, me answering your question here, then let me know the specific one. Like if you could just, I don't know, respond to this with a link, that'd be awesome. And then if you could just show me how you're cropping the OBS, because like if it's something I have to adjust and finick every single time in order to record a video, I'm not going to do it. But if it's something that I could just set with the exact same frame and then I just turn on my OBS just like I'm doing right now, then I will absolutely buy one and I'll do it 100% because of your recommendation. All right. Josh says, "Came over from your main channel a couple days ago. Really enjoy the loose structure of these vids and watching you work through things in real time. Perfectly complements the main channel content. Appreciate the work you're doing." Thank you, my man. Really, really appreciate that. Eshkat says, "Man, I need to see this, your day-to-day sessions." Awesome. Sinatra says, "How much ROI do I get playing League of Legends?" I don't know. That's a good question. Ask yourself that. If you meant you, the ROI is in fun with my friend that I don't really get to see very often in person, who lives in another country, another state. That's about that. Not much of like a quantitative ROI, but something about relaxing at the end of a long day is, I guess, certainly beneficial. Okay, great. So yeah, I mean, I answered like 50 questions there or something like that. I'm not going to be able to do that every time. I just had a little bit more time today. But if you have any other questions, feel free to drop them below. I answer those all the time. I love getting questions from viewers. And it also, just to be honest, makes me rank a little higher in search results. So every comment helps. Now that we're done with the QA, I'm going to check that out. Ooh, I got to use hotkeys. So S, right? S. Beautiful. We're going to do some brand stats. The reason why I'm trying to figure out these hotkeys is because I want to be able to, well, I guess I haven't actually checked yet. I just want to be able to draw and write without having to go back over here all the time. I think it'll be a little more engaging. So how are we going to do that? Well, I have a sheet here, a little bookmark called brand stats. Let's open that puppy up. And this is just where I log my growth every 24 hours. So my subscriber count's now 221. Boy, did that grow a lot. We could see that it's grown 27 since the last time I did this. I did the last one pretty late in the day, like over right now it's like 9:54. I think the last one I did was like 5 p.m. or something. So technically it hasn't really been that many hours. Let's move over to my YouTube now, my main one. 50,516. So I'm going to go over here, pump that in. Same idea, right? So this growth was actually probably a lot more than that. Then for my Instagram, which I know for a fact has basically not grown at all. Let's jump into IG. I turned off the notifications, by the way. 15,627. There you go. Okay, so we're down to 332. That's probably the lowest day on record so far. Yeah, that's the lowest growth day on record. Actually, you know what? No, yesterday was probably the lowest growth day on record. Yeah, like if you take into account the 24-hour period, but I'm not really focused on the minor stuff. So what do we get from this? You know, Instagram growth is obviously slowing down. Growth here is pretty consistent. It's right around 300 a day or 300 every 24 hours. And then my daily update channel, it's big. I also crossed over, you know, this big dick number, the 50,000, and pretty soon I'm going to be 51,000. That's huge. I mean, I've always wanted to have a successful YouTube or personal brand channel. Every day I log on, it just gets better and better and better. I mean, look at that growth, right? Like just, you know, 10 days ago, we were at 47,000. And now we're at 50,516. Man, that's crazy. Okay, let's also just check out this graph. Seems to be tending in the right direction, obviously, but yeah, if we could just extend this, it seems like this, kind of like this. I don't know, maybe there'll be a couple bumps and stuff, but this is definitely nowhere near a straight line as just like my YouTube growth. Like you could just map a one-to-one line on that. These might not actually end up meeting anywhere near as early, as soon as I thought. I mean, Instagram is still growing pound for pound faster than YouTube. It's just the growth has gotten to be about the same. So a couple of reasons for that. I reflected on it a little bit more heavily. The larger that your channel gets on a one-time news sort of, hey, check out this cool new technology content, the higher the proportion of people every day that follow you, but then also unfollow you because the content that they are initially following you for is not super, it's not relevant to their needs now. Like if somebody opts in for some cool design automation, they follow me and they're like, wow, this is really cool. Then the next day I post something about like make.com automations. The likelihood that both of those audiences are going to be the same and that I'm going to consistently add value is a little lower. So obviously I'm going to have like some unfollows occur. And those unfollows are basically my churn. It's going to be a higher proportion of my total following count, every time that happens. So whereas, like, if I think about this, when I started, if I was getting like, I don't know, 1,000 new follows, and then 5% of my total following base unfollowed, that would be, let's say I had 1,000 subs, that would be 50 unfollows, which would be a total of 950 gained, right? Well, now, right, at 15,000, at 15,000, if I gain, 1,000 followers at 15,000, then 5% of 15,750 followers unfollows. And, now I'm at like 250 gained, right? So kind of makes sense that I grow disproportionately more at the beginning. Now, this isn't like actually what's going on. I'm not losing 750 followers a day. I think I got like 50 or something the other day, but, I'm just trying to understand and conceptualize this in my head. If I go to the professional dashboard and I see new followers, yeah, it's closer to like 30, 50, 97, right? So it's not actually that crazy. For some reason, I can't see today's stats on Instagram, only yesterday's and the days before. So yeah, there's that. There's probably some more competition in the space now because I've just talked about it openly. So there are other people doing AI news. And so, there's only so many eyeballs is what it is. I don't mind increasing the quality of the, I don't mind increasing the quality of the market more generally. I probably had a couple of virality spikes just because there was a lot of movement in AI and automation right around the time that I started with DeepSeek. My top video was about DeepSeek, Mistral, and a couple of the other things. So I think that was just, 400K plus video view obviously is just going to spike you. And maybe there are a couple other reasons as well. The fact that I got banned and stuff like that temporarily maybe is like limited my reach or whatever. Whatever it is, I don't worry too much about it, because I don't care about what occurs in a 24-hour period as much as I care what occurs in, let's say, like a 3-week period, right? And my 3-week trend is I've gained 14,000 subscribers. So 14,000 subscribers over 3 weeks is fantastic for me. No issues there. Hopefully that gives you guys some insights into, just the decision-making here. And now I can check this. All right. Third thing I want to do is I want to do some live strategy just while I have you. And I have a feeling that my timer is going to go off here pretty soon. 6 minutes? Okay. Hopefully it doesn't interrupt our session. But so one of the main templates that I'm going to be creating for my community and for my template offer as well is I'm going to be doing like an Upwork agent. So what do I mean by agent? Well, I have a couple of different options here. What I'm thinking of doing, and I did this, what I'm thinking of doing is I want... Ooh, crap. What the hell was this thing called? Okay, let's just go sheets.google.com and then let me just look up Upwork. Probably find it here. Template ideas. There we go. Okay, Upwork proposal engine. So one of the things I want is I want the ability to like copy and paste an Upwork job description into a search box, and then it'll create a CV automation workflow diagram, Google Docs scope proposal, and it'll also give you the perfectly formatted prompt to feed into the make.com AI scenario so that you could create it. I was thinking even more on this. Actually, it'd be really cool if on top of this, I also just offered the ability to like have an Upwork agent where you're like, hey, scrape new Upwork jobs. And then it scrapes a big list of Upwork jobs for you right there. And then you now have a list of Upwork jobs. And you're like, okay, great. read through the description of the first one and give me a bunch of information on it. And then it goes through and it does that. That would be sick, right? And that's totally something that I could put together and sell. And I would actually have some sort of business utility as opposed to most agents, which is a total waste of time. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with this core nugget, which is where all you do is you copy and paste an Upwork job description. Then it creates a CV and an automation workflow diagram and then a Google Docs scope proposal. I'm going to start with that. And then I'm eventually going to work out the rest of this with the agent function. And then if I can figure out like in 80 to 90% of what I'm going to be doing today, just in this daily strategy session, then I'm going to record a video on it for my main channel as well, of me just like building it out. Because if I'm going to be building it out and I have to build it out as part of my work anyway, might as well record and make an additional video out of it, right? That'll make the rest of my life a little bit easier. So this is basically what I want to do, right? How do you do it? Well, we're just kind of logical about it. This is going to be an N8N for sure. It'll be like an N8N chat agent, first of all. And basically, what we're going to do is when there's like a new chat, you're going to paste the Upwork job description. I'm thinking I'll just do like a one subflow agent. Okay. So all new chats are going to go to one agent with one subflow. This agent for now, we'll have other functionality later. This agent is going to call this subflow, and this subflow is going to create copy, paste, CV plus workflow diagram plus Google Docs scope proposal. The question becomes plus prompt. So the question becomes, how are we going to get a copy and paste CV if the agent doesn't know anything about you? That's kind of the first thing. So we need a way for us to enter a little bit of information in and have the agent know something about us. So what I'm thinking is, when a new chat comes in, what we're actually probably going to have to do is we're going to need some sort of like edit fields node, or from make.com speak, like a set of variables node. So we're going to have a set of variable of some kind. That variable is going to be the thing that you change. And it'll just be like a brief CV or career description about you. That sounds pretty good to me. Okay, from there, we feed that into the subflow. And then all the subflow is the subflow is just an LLM that takes a copy paste CV and that takes the Upwork job description. All it does is it takes as input Upwork job description. And we're doing this manually for now. Obviously, we could totally just scrape this later, but it takes as input Upwork job description. And then it outputs these four things. Outputs copy paste CV, outputs a workflow diagram, outputs a Google Docs proposal. Then it outputs a prompt for you that you can pump in a make or something like that if you want to like record a video on it. That's probably what we do here. So the CV is easy enough, right? We just take the data that the person fed in as their curriculum vitae, basically, with all of their details, and I just squish it into my own format, which I know is high performing. That's easy. The workflow diagram might be a little bit tougher. I don't know if we have the ability to generate workflow diagrams using a node. There's definitely no built-ins in N8N, so I probably have to call an API. There has to be some workflow diagram via API, though. I mean, I can do it in freaking Excalidraw, for Christ's sake, right? I can literally go text a diagram, feed in a thing, and I can like generate the preview here. So actually, why don't we just do that as an example? That'd be pretty funny. New chat agent, call subflow, creates copy paste CV, creates workflow diagram, creates Google Docs proposal, creates prompt for make.com AI. Okay, so watch this. I just feed this in here. I paste this, say generate. Now I have this. I mean, this isn't the exact workflow chart I want. Let's just do let's do a flow chart of this flow. There you go. And this is now going to generate it, not as this top-down thing, but hopefully a lot easier one. Cool. So as you see here, I can't really show you guys, unfortunately. I mean, screw it. I can just insert this. As you see here, this has already generated this, right? How cool would it be if I just had a system that did this, and then you could just take this, maybe put it in a Google Doc or whatever, and then it's just like, hey, I just designed this whole thing for you, right? That would be huge, man. And that's exactly what we're going for here. So I think that'd be cool as hell. I think there's tons of value in this one-click solution. Imagine if you sold this for like $150 or something. How many people would buy it? I mean, I definitely would have at the beginning of my Upwork career. It would have saved me so much time. Okay. So yeah, that's basically what we have to do. So why don't I just jump into N8N and actually just do a little bit of mapping, right? Kind of figure it out. Ooh, this is cool. Wow, you can go vertical here. Man, Excalidraw is like the greatest drawing tool ever. I'm not affiliated with these guys at all, not even a tiny bit, but if you guys like doing stuff like this, like the ability to like spitball and diagram and whatnot, I just find this so much better than everything else I've ever used. Okay, so I'm just going to jump into N8N right now. And then let's just map this out really basically first. So I'm going to call this one my Upwork agent, okay? Upwork agent. For now, I'm just going to tag this as N8N course because I'm probably going to make a video on it. I'm going to go agent, obviously. And then when chat message is received, I'm going to make it publicly available. It's right over here. And then it'll say, hey there, copy and paste your Upwork job description, and I'll generate assets for you. Generate the assets for you. Cool. I guess it'd be kind of neat if you could allow file uploads, huh? Nah, that's fine. So I actually want to open this. Oh, this is the production URL, so I have to, that's annoying. I actually have to make this live. All right, well, whatever. Oh, geez, I have to connect this to a chat. You're right, obviously, no duh. Okay, OpenAI, we'll just choose my credential. We'll go YouTube. Model, let's just do that for now. I just want to make sure this works. Now I'm going to activate it. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Just to be clear, hi there, copy and paste your Upwork job description. I'll generate the assets for you. What do you mean? It's not going to have any access to the previous prompt, so we're going to get some weird results. That's fine. Cool. Okay, window buffer memory is the easiest, so we're just going to do window buffer. Let's do context window 15 interactions, way more than 5 realistically. And now we have everything we need to be able to reference past conversations, which is cool. And let me just go back to my Excalidraw here. So basically what I want to do is, now we just need to call a subflow that generates, okay, maybe we start with the CV, and then I'll worry about the workflow diagram and stuff like that after. So we'll call an N8N workflow tool. We'll say generate assets based on job description. Call this tool to generate assets, including a CV, a workflow diagram, a Google Docs proposal, and an AI prompt using an Upwork job description. User will feed in an Upwork job description. Beautiful. Okay, so now I have to go and actually have to like make the other workflow. So this is kind of annoying. Let's go next N8N.io over here. Let's add another workflow. I'll do Upwork agent generate assets. Let's do that. I'm going to tag this as N8N course. This is going to be on when called by another workflow here. Okay. Then we're just going to go OpenAI, and then I'm going to just message a model. Don't like how this is never flat, but I'm just testing this out, wireframing the hell out of it, so I don't need this to be perfect. Let's go down to GPT-4o mini because I want it to run very quickly. I'll say you are a helpful, intelligent writing assistant. Then under system, then under user, I'll say your task is to take as input an Upwork job description and generate a customized CV. Okay, I'm not going to do anything else but this. Oh, maybe I'll do, sorry, I'll do, can we do from AI? Yeah, there we go, right? What parameter am I going to be passing? Let's just go job description. I'm going to say job description. Output your results in JSON using this format. I'm going to go, well, I mean, CV is actually just such a crappy way of phrasing this. The model's probably going to get kind of confused. Let's actually just do this. We'll go job description. That way it'll just feed everything in as JSON in and out, right? Okay. So that looks reasonable to me. Cool. Now this is going to be this workflow ID. So I'm going to go back over here. Field to, oh, right. I need to return a response here. And then, you know what? Can I just do like response dot job description? Would that work? I mean, I've built like 3 agents before, so honestly, let's just do ID and hard code it for now. The field in the last executed node of the workflow. Okay, anyway, let's just like make sure that we can actually return something. This is, hey, I'm Nick and I'm really interested in this job posting. Okay. Well, I can't really execute everything before, right? So let's just give this a try to start. I just put response in, and okay, I have a bunch of other extra workflow inputs I could do. I could also specify the input schema down here. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think we're just going to give this a try. So that is the main tool I'm doing. And oh, did they change this? What is this? I don't remember seeing this. They totally changed this. Or maybe I'm using the old canvas. Oh, I'm totally using the old canvas. Okay, let's save this first. No. Oh, no. Okay, cool. Yeah. I was using the old canvas there. Weird. All right, so now let's chat with this model. Then here, I just want to do call asset generating. Call asset generator. This is going to be window buffer. Just going to save all of this. I know we don't have execution data. That's fine. Hey, how's it going? Okay, we didn't call anything here. Can you generate me some assets? Hopefully it'll say, sure, just feed in the Upwork job description. Okay, cool. Let's go to upwork.com now. Oh, this is interesting. I don't know what that is. Okay, let's just go automation now. Oops, automation. Ah, yes, automation, the best. This is perfect. So let's just feed this in here. Let's see what happens. Feeding this in now. Should make the determination to use the tool. Don't fail me, little one. There's an issue. What is the issue? Let's go to the, oh no. It's probably running it like 1,000,000 times. Come on, man. So what was the issue there? No execution data available? I probably did something so incredibly simple. I probably screwed up with something so incredibly simple. No execution data. So from AI job description, right? Maybe, do I just do from AI query? I might just do from AI query, right? This is feeding in the, or maybe it's either query or chat input. I keep on forgetting. I think it's query. So we're going here, right? Okay, so we're feeding in this query. Yeah, I hate the debugging flow on this. because you can't actually see. Could I just go from AI with nothing? Get the name of the person from AI name. Get the age of the person as a number with the default value of 18. Yeah, I keep on forgetting how they use the damn AI thing. That's okay. We're going to feed that in and just like brute force our way to make it work. This should have done a lot faster. The fact that it didn't makes me think it's broken. So it's just going to call it again, right? Okay, so we fed this in. It made the decision to call the asset generator with query. It says no execution data available. So we're calling the asset generator and nothing is coming back. So there may be a few reasons why. The first reason may be that it's not finding the workflow by ID or something. So that's like the lowest hanging fruit. Let me just save this. Go back to personal. Upwork agent generate assets. And let me just make sure this is good, right? This is good. The last field here is called response, which seems fine to me. Okay, so now I'm going to go to this tool generator, and instead of doing it by ID, I'm actually just going to go manually Upwork agent generate assets. If I remove this, what happens? So it'll look at the output of the last executed node of the workflow for a field with this name and return its value. Okay. So I'm going to go back to this Upwork agent, and I have this from AI feature here. This might just be breaking things. So I'm actually just going to do this. So now I'm going to chat again. We're chatting with the model, calling the asset generator. We did receive the results. The issue is probably with the, yeah, the issue is undoubtedly with that. Oh, actually, wait, did it go through and do the whole thing? No way. Okay, so this is the input I provided, right? This is the chat model with all of the input. Cool. This is the asset generator. So asset generator, we fed in this. The output was, hey, I'm Nick, and I'm really interested in this job posting. That's good. That's what we wanted, right? So response was obviously gotten. OpenAI chat model then got the response from the tool. And then it used that to write some other bullshit here, which is not actually what we want. We don't want it, like, we don't want this to write the bullshit. We want this to write the bullshit. And we want that to just like verbatim copy and paste it back, right? So my issue is obviously with this from AI node. From AI, and yeah, I figured this out once and I've already completely forgotten how to do this. So from AI, oh, nice, my buddy Nate. Okay. When configuring app node tools connected to Tools Agent, many parameters can be filled in by the AI model itself. The AI model uses the context from the task and information from other connected tools to fill in the appropriate details. There are two ways to do this, and you can switch between them. The first is you let the model fill in the parameter. So maybe I go here. No. Sorry, where exactly am I doing this? In the tools editing dialog. I'm not seeing this button in the tools editing dialog, unfortunately. Maybe I need to go to expression. There doesn't seem to be that same button. So perhaps this is an earlier version, or I'm just missing some context here that doesn't make any sense. This is obviously the ideal. I'm not sure why I don't have it though. Okay, so the from AI function uses AI to dynamically fill in parameters for tools connected to the tools AI agent. Okay, so the reason why I wasn't working is because you can only use from AI functions and expressions within app nodes. It's not possible to use it with the call init and workflow. So that does make sense. So I don't like that. I need to obviously provide a mechanism by which I can feed in the data that I fed in here, which was query, I think. So how do I do that? I need to manually specify the query, don't I? So I think it's literally just me. I'm going to pin the output. It's going to be query. It's going to say, and this should automatically make this JSON for me, right? And I don't need a code value. I'm going to save this. This is now the output here, okay? Hold on a second. There's something broken. It's because this last comma. I'm going to save this. This is now my output, and this is pinned. So I'm going to take this pinned output here. And what I'm going to do is job description. I'll just drag in query to the text. And now I should have everything. I'm just going to test this out and make sure I have an output on the OpenAI node. Just make sure I didn't screw anything up. Beautiful, beautiful. The fact that it is working like a little worker bee means I now have access to a CV file. And then what I want is in here, I just called this response. Realistically, I call this whatever the hell I want. I'm just going to map it as CV. This is now so it's actually generating me a whole CV. That's really funny. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so we're still calling the asset generator. We're not using AI to map anything. We're using query specifically. Can I just wipe this? Let's just wipe this and feed in the job description. Hey, generate me a CV based on this. So it should now do a lookup, determining what I'm asking, which was that I wanted it to fire this tool. Then it's going to go call the sub agent. Sub agent's going to generate the CV based off of the input. And then we are going to get it back. So successfully, this is the challenge fed. What does the tool do? Why are there so many? Hold on. I don't know why this fed twice. Oh, sorry. It was getting my bad. It was getting the previous buffer memory, even though I exited it out. That's cool. Whatever. Cool. Then we called the asset generator. Are we still getting the same thing? No, this doesn't seem right. This seems like it's the last one. I am pinning the query, and that's fine. But that shouldn't matter for the output. So let's actually just cut this out, and let's just reload this whole thing. Let me just see if by window buffer memory, maybe it's referring to this. So I'm going to go here, and then I'll say this. We have a name, email, blah, blah, blah field. Okay. This is taking way longer than I thought that it would take. I wonder why. Maybe because I'm doing 2 calls. Maybe it's because I'm calling a sub agent. I don't remember this taking this long last time I built an agent. Okay, so, okay, yeah, it's actually gone through and it's generated it, which is nice. So why don't we find the tool? Oh, you know what? It's just doing this again and again and again. Why is it calling so many times? Weird. Yeah, so it's grabbing the buffer from the previous message. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, great. Okay, anyway, I think I have to figure out whatever this looks like. But obviously, this is the thing that was fed back, which is nice. So we do get the whole thing. The response includes all of the fields. Oh, it actually formatted in JSON, which is not what I wanted, but whatever. Then the chat model gets all that data back, right over here under tool. And then it uses it to regenerate a resume, which is nice. And then we add that to the buffer memory. Cool. So, obviously proof of concept, this is easy enough. Had a couple of bugs that I had to run through to really make this thing not just screw up constantly. Let me go back to my main thing. But I think that this is pretty reasonable. So, yeah. The big thing with these models is the prompts. They just tend to suck. And so I'm just going to fine tune and tweak the prompts a little bit, make them a lot higher quality. And then obviously here I was just generating the same information over and over and over again. But I'm going to have to feed it a list of examples of what I want the generated CVs to look like based on my own template. So what I'm probably going to say is like, hey, write it based off of this template. Then I'm going to allow people to edit the templates that we're using as an example. And by editing the templates, I'm going to give people some freedom. And then in order to make sure that that freedom doesn't screw them up, I'm going to give them like a bunch of templates and that they can just model theirs off of. And then that way they'll feed in their CV. Their CV will like have a bunch of stuff that they've done. Then we're going to use that. We're going to turn that into the template. Then we're going to feed in the template alongside the Upwork job description with every request. Then the sub-agent is going to get all that. It's going to use it to generate like nicely formatted assets in the way that I know performs really well on Upwork. And then I'm also going to attach to that sub-agent or maybe create a different workflow sub-agent that generates workflow diagrams and then ultimately a Google Doc as well that I can copy and paste the stuff into. And in that way, like we should be able to generate some reasonably high quality assets. So I'm pretty stoked about this. I think I can totally just record a video of me, talking through my thoughts live while I do it. And yeah, I think I'm going to call it there. Hopefully you guys appreciated that. I had a lot of fun putting it together. If you want to help out, like the video. Leave a comment, any comment down below, whether it's a question or a suggestion or anything that you guys want. Every little bit of engagement helps. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel. If you guys could do me a big solid. If you're at the start line of your business and you want to go from 0 to 1, check out Maker School. If you guys are already at 1 and you want to grow an agency, check out Make Money with Make. And I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for your time.